Suzanne Sommers. Yeah.
Now, do you want me to sit on this side or you want me to sit on that side?
They want me to sit on that side.
Oh,
They
okay.
want me to.
But you know, one of the things you figure out in life is what's your good side.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is my good side. So I'm going to sit here and figure it out.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me back.
Yeah,
so nice
so
to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming back.
That's my pleasure.
Oh my God, so much has happened in the last couple of years.
My husband, it's his birthday today, and he tweeted out all day, the dumbest woman on television is speaking at Harvard.
For the second time. Hey, Alec, can you stop that? Just go and press space bar on my computer. Great.
Wow, that's a lot of pictures of me.
There was a lot of pictures of you. There are
I've been around a long time.
There are a lot of pictures of you.
Yeah.
Some of which a lot of us have on the ceiling
Did
of
you
our adolescent bedrooms.
I was always a good girl.
That's what I hear. What I wanted to ask you about today was comedy and about your experiences in comedy and how people could become comedians. Like, do you think it's possible for a person to learn how to be funny?
I think you have, I remember watching John Ritter one day, who's a genius. Too bad he's gone. It was gone too soon. And he's akin to Dick Van Dyke. They're equally as good. And I was watching him in year one, I didn't know anything. And there's an interesting story I'll tell you about how I ended up there on year one. It was so unlikely. But I was watching John Ritter, and I had this epiphany, oh my God, comedy is musical. It's set up, beat, and I am musical. And as soon as I heard the music of comedy, that's what timing is all about. But I was planning on being a chef. And the reason is I was given a little book when I was a little girl called Susie's Cookbook, and it's all about you when you're a kid, and I thought it was written about me. And there was a recipe in there called candle salad. And when you're 4 and you can make a recipe, and what is a piece of lettuce and a scoop of cottage cheese and a pineapple ring. Remember when our mothers had canned pineapple? Dole. And then you take a banana, you cut it in half and stick it in the middle of the pineapple ring, and the cottage cheese is like the glue, and then you put a candle on top, and that's candle salad. It's extremely phallic, but what did I know? It was this banana sticking up with a red thing on the top. But I am unlikely. My career is unlikely, but in this biggest picture, here I am, 50 years later. It was so meant to be, but you don't know. And I was in love with Alan Hamill, who I'm still in love with all these years later. I've been with him for 50 years. And I was living in Sausalito. I was a teenage mother. I was living in Sausalito, and he lived in LA, and all I wanted to do was be with Alan Hamill, and I got a hold of the trades. And I don't know how I got a hold of the trades. Remember the trades?
Yeah.
And it said, Dom DeLuise show called Lots of Luck, looking for a girl, a small-town girl who doesn't know who she is and doesn't know what she looks like. And I was smart enough to go, that is so me. I'm a small-town girl. I don't know who I am, and I don't know what I look like. And the interview was at 4 o'clock Burbank, NBC. And so I called Alan, and I said, I've got an interview. I don't know how it works. When you don't know anything, it's not bluffing. You just show up. And things were different then because of there was no security situation or anything. And I pull up to NBC with Alan. Why are you here? I'm here for the Dom DeLuise show. Oh, you park over there. So I go in. I've not been on an interview like this. I sit down. I look at all the other girls in the room. They look just like me, but better. And they would walk in, sign in, and the receptionist gave them a script. So I signed in, and I got a script. I go and I read for Sam Denoff and Bill Persky, who I ended up working with many years later. And I finished, and Sam Denoff says, very nice. And I thought, I know. I'm a small town girl. I don't know who I am, and I don't know what I look like. And that's what you're looking for. He said, we're going to give you a call back. And I said, thanks. So I go out to the receptionist, and I said, I have a call back. And she said, great. I said, what is that? She said, they're going to call you back. I said, when? She said, well, I don't know. I said, like, today? She said, well, yeah, today. Well, where do I go? Now I'm irritating her. I'm her problem. She goes, I don't know. These words changed my life. Why don't you go wait in the commissary? So I go sit in the commissary. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm all by myself. I don't buy anything because I don't have any money. I'm just sitting there. And I look over there, and Johnny Carson's walking in. I thought, oh, my God, that's Johnny Carson. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Johnny Carson is walking towards me. Oh, my God. And Johnny Carson gets right up in front of me. He goes, hey, little lady, what are you doing here? And I said, I have a call back, because now I have lingo, right? And I told him about Dom Dollars. Oh, Dom's a friend of mine. I hope you get it. I didn't have an 8x10 glossy, but I had, the only thing I had 2 things. This is 1973. I had my little book of poetry that I wrote in 1973, and on the back was my only credit, which was The Mysterious Blonde and the Thunderbird in American Graffiti, which I hadn't even seen because I couldn't afford to go to the movies. And so that was Wednesday. I handed him the book. Friday night of that week, I am booked on The Tonight Show. And I wrote a bad check for my dress because I didn't have a dress. And I'll figure it out later. $75. Imagine what a dress it was. But when you're, 19, everything looks good. And I'm standing behind
you.
I'm standing behind that famous curtain, and I'm hoping I won't throw up. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they must just love my poetry. I mean, I know I was good, but I didn't know I was that good. And I hear Johnny Carson say, we've all been wondering who the mysterious blonde in the Thunderbird was. And I'm back there going, you were? And he said, well, we found her. And they opened the curtain, and the audience went, woo! And it stunned me. I was shaking. I didn't know what it was about. And he just loved me because I was so small town girl, didn't know who I was, didn't know what I looked like. And remember, he used to like that kind of naivete. So he started having me on every month to read him poetry. And the bad checks are piling up. Need another dress. You cut them short, add a sleeve. And my little book of poetry became the #1 best-selling book in America of poetry, along with Rod McEwen. And in one of those, or maybe all of those times, the president of ABC was watching, and they were looking for a girl for Three's Company, and they had hired 2. Neither of them tested well. And as he says, with the lore, he's sitting in a meeting, he says, I got the girl. I see her on The Tonight Show all the time. So why do those things happen? Is it meant to be? I think so. And then that show went on to become the #1 show in the country at a time when that never can happen again, because there's so much content now. And I had the highest demographics of any female on television at that time. And because I'm working with John Ritter and learning from this genius, and then I figured out that it was musical, but I did create that character. Because when I got a dumb blonde, I thought, God, everybody hates dumb blondes. They're just dumb and irritating. How do you make a dumb blonde lovable? I gave her a moral code, what she would and would not do, and the audience knew what Chrissy would and would not do after a while, so that you're hooked into them. And she became, I was on every year, 55, 60 national magazine covers, cover of Newsweek, featured on 60 Minutes as the next Farrah Fawcett. All these things were happening. So what happened in year 6 didn't make any sense to me. Why? Because I signed for anything. You can imagine when you're signing a deal, when you're a small town girl, you don't know who you are, you don't know what you look like. Yeah, I'll do it for free. But whatever, it's just signed here, fine. It's fine. I didn't have an agent. Well, by year 6, that really wasn't right, was it?
Nah.
And I'm realizing that all the men in television are making 10 and 15 times more than me, and I'm the #1 female on television. Why is that? So we have to renegotiate. It's year 6. So we get a call the night before the meeting from the CFO at ABC, and he says to my husband, who's a friend of a friend, you didn't hear this from me, but they're going to hang a nun in the marketplace, and it's going to be Suzanne, because Laverne and Shirley had just renegotiated a few months earlier, and just, it's Laverne and Shirley. You can't fire both of them. And they got huge, wasn't $1 million a week yet, but eventually Friends got that. And so they wanted to stop it, and they used me to stop it. So then I thought, why would God, the universe, have placed me in these positions? And if you know my work, I've written several books about my abusive childhood. So here's I made it out of this darkness where I used to hide in the closet at night. My father was so violent. Why would I reach the height of my success and then have it ripped out from under me, and my reputation in the industry was just destroyed? And I sat in my living room for about a year, and I heard a voice. I hear voices, and the voice said, why are you focused on what you don't have? Why don't you focus on what you do have? And I thought, what do I have? And then the voice said to me, you have enormous visibility. Everybody in this country and many parts of the world know your name. That's valuable. And I thought, that is so valuable. And I said to Alan, who we are married now, I said, I want to do a Vegas act. He says, can you sing? but he knew. I had been on John Wayne's special and the Bob Hope special, and I had had a lot of experience at that point. So he made a 2-year deal for me at the MGM Grand Hotel after going from hotel to hotel to hotel, and they all offered me 2 weeks and nothing else. And Alan went to the MGM Grand, and there was a guy by the name of, I forget his name, it was like Meyer Lansky, but it wasn't Meyer Lansky, but those guys that were running the Vegas at that time. And Alan describes it as this long, long office, and only one desk at the end, no other furniture in the whole office. And so Alan walks towards him and he's writing. He never even looks up. And when Alan reaches his desk, he goes, without looking up, what do you want? And Alan said, I want a 2-year deal for Suzanne Sommers, and I don't care what the money is. And he looks up and he goes, nobody's got a 2-year deal. Why do you want that? He said, because I know her, and she will succeed. If she fails the first time, she'll succeed. But she's a curiosity, and they'll all come to see her because she's been ripped off this show before the public was ready. So that was in '80. And in 1987, I was walking on stage with Frank Sinatra, Las Vegas Female Entertainer of the Year. So I had nothing to do during the day when I'm doing nightclubs, because I'm on the road all the time, and I'm not going to watch soap operas, so I started writing books. And the books, I never understood celebrities who didn't embrace and appreciate being a celebrity. It's the greatest thing. If it's true, we've been here before and we'll be back again. I'd love to come back again as a celebrity.
Me too.
Yeah, it's really, it's great. And but it's not about good tables at restaurants. It's about how you can use your fame to affect. And
impact?
Yes.
Influence?
Income?
Know,
yes. Yeah. Take it and use it. And the first thing that I used as my celebrity after Three's Company was I bought a pair of Manolo Blahnik shoes. Kind of like these. Maybe these are Manolo Blahniks. I bet they now name this shoe after me.
That's the Suzanne Sommers shoe?
It is. I wear it so often because it's the same color as your legs, and it makes your legs look longer. This woman wants to see them. It's just plain. It's got a little toe cleavage and pointed toe, and it makes your leg look longer. And so I bought them, and they were, at that time, $565. And they're stupid. They're nude. They're nothing, right? And I'm standing in my dressing room in my underwear, and I thought, Alan's going to think I'm so stupid for spending so much money on a pair of shoes. So I walk out in my underwear. And I said, "You like my new shoes?" You know, you got to use what you got. And he says, "Great legs." And I went, "Oh my God," because we had just acquired the Thigh Master. And I said, "That's the commercial. And you know what else? We can write off the shoes." So if any of you remember the Thigh Master, I was in a leotard with these shoes, and the camera started at my feet, worked up my legs, with Alan off camera going, "Great legs," and he's got a great voice. And we sold, over the years, 10 million.
10 million Thigh Masters.
So
Alan likes that. He finally remembers that. Yeah. 10 million.
But you know, also what you learn is the negatives in life are the opportunities. So being fired ultimately became an opportunity.
The negatives in life are the opportunities.
And you can use it like judo, you know, using forward energy to win. And we could have made, like today, you could make a big deal over being fired. With the Me Too movement, oh my God, I'd own ABC. But we decided not to do that. I was ahead of my time. No woman came to my support in Hollywood, which didn't really bother me because they're all afraid for their jobs too.
Sure.
Those jobs are really hard to come by, so I get it. I don't have any hard feelings about that. I also didn't want to be a whiner. I didn't want to be one of those people of, "Look what they did to me." I thought, I got this, after the voice told me, I've got this incredible thing that most people don't have, fame. And it opens a lot of doors. How can you use it well? And so writing the books during the day, I wrote about being a child of an alcoholic first.
Are you a writer?
Yes.
I'm a writer before anything.
Well,
like,
I
I
just
know you
finished
started with poetry.
Yeah.
Like, are you a writer? Are you an actor? Are you a performer? Are you a singer? What are you?
Yes.
But first, at the core.
Unidimensional.
But at the core.
Well, because I had I've written many books about my childhood. I always worked out my feelings by writing letters I wasn't going to send. I thought I was going to send them when I still do that. When I have to mad at somebody, I write them a letter, and I'm going to send it when I'm writing it, but I never send it. It's for me. The first book was number one, the poetry. Then the second book was Keeping Secrets, and the opening line was, I am an adult child of an alcoholic. My childhood and that of my brothers and sister was robbed by a terrible and painful disease that no one ever wanted to talk about. And that opened the floodgates. I can feel it in this room. I'm not the only one. I can feel the feelings. That started the Children of Alcoholics movement, and it became huge because we all focus on the alcoholic. But what happens to the collateral? What happens to the kids who are hiding? What does that do to you emotionally? Do you use it to win, or does it kill you? Like it killed my younger brother. It did him in. He couldn't take it. I got a case of the "I'll show yous" with my father. The "I'll show yous" are great. And he used to tell me, he had a mantra: "You're stupid, you're hopeless, you're worthless, you're nothing, you're a big O." And I believed him for so many years until it's in the book, and I won't go through it. One terrible night that I ended that. Let's just say that. Read the book, Keeping Secrets. Anyway, the movie struck a chord with so many people. And that was the first time I realized the real power of doing well while doing good. I had a best-selling book again, number one for 16 weeks on New York Times, Keeping Secrets. And then it became a movie. And then there was the movement, and then lecture. Then I started lecturing. And I realized I wasn't alone, that we all need to hear one another's stories to be able to work out our own, to know that we're not alone, that we can work it out. And then I wrote several books after that, and then I gained weight. I put on some weight, and I didn't know why. So I started writing diet books, and I sold 9 million diet books, over 9 books. Dumbest woman on television. But you know why these things are working? Because they're organic. It's not BS.
Yeah, it's for you.
It's for me. I'm telling the truth. All along the way, I'm telling the truth. And the public is smart, and they smell truth.
Yeah.
And they smell phonies. I look at the people in my industry who can't connect, and I know what it is. They think they're better. They think they're better than us. And the moment in life you think you're better than anyone else, you've lost. And you cannot connect with people. But if I'm you, you've had the same experience as me, we're already connecting. And that's what these books have done. So the weight, and then we started the summer size food, summer size appliances, summer size cruises. Cruises. We would fill the Carnival ship, and oh my God, the women came, and now I'm on home shopping and selling jewelry and clothes. And so I said to all my women on home shopping, let's go on this cruise. Alan's been sitting in the green room going, what cruise? So I come in after the show, he goes, we're going on a cruise. I go, you'll figure it out. See, I have this great partner. I knew that when I met him. I guess I was 20 when I met him. I knew that. And he's so smart. And what he does, I don't do, and what I do, he doesn't do, although he could probably do what I do. And so we had this cruise, and we had the goddess contest on it was the goddess cruise. And I told all the women to come with all their jewelry, and they came with Suzanne Sommers bracelets all the way up their arm, and they wore Suzanne Sommers satin pajamas, and they danced and had so much fun, and it was so connecting. And then they watched me on home shopping, and I was on home shopping for 17 years. We did over $2 billion worth of business. Dumbest woman on television. I normally don't talk about things like that, but I know that this is about entrepreneurship. And when you're an entrepreneur, there's no guarantee ever. You know, if you go to law school, you'll be a lawyer. If you go to med school, you'll be a doctor.
There's no predictable ROI?
No. And it's rolling the dice. It's rolling the dice, and it takes courage, and you fail. You know, Thigh Master sold 10 million. Then we did Butt Master. What we didn't figure is there's no woman who wants to walk out of Walmart with a big box that says Butt Master. So Butt Master kind of tanked, and you go, well, you win some, you lose some.
Win some, you lose some. Yeah. How does comedy and your sense of humor and your understanding of the way to make people laugh help you as an entrepreneur? What do you think?
Oh, it's all about connecting. If I'm selling just to you and I make you laugh, you're going to like me. You're more likely to want to buy something from me. And if I make you laugh and it's for real, I'm not being phony, and it's a real belly laugh, now we've really connected. So again, it's tell the truth, tell the truth, tell the truth. Don't be a phony. And nobody likes to be around a phony, especially a salesperson.
How do people learn how to make people laugh? Is it possible?
I don't think you can try to make someone laugh. I think life is funny if you choose to say, you know, a big box with Butt Master on it that fails. That's funny. Oh, worse though. Who knew the internet was coming? I hate to see what the internet's done with Butt Master. Yeah. Yeah. Who knew porn was going to be big?
No one could have seen that one
coming. No one could have seen that one. Never could have seen that one coming. So then...
Are there any books? Like, you're a writer. Are there any books a person can read to learn comedy or how to be funny? Have you seen any?
I don't think so. I think you got it or you don't, relative to comedy. Not everybody can be a comic or a stand-up. Mm-hmm. By the way, being a stand-up, that takes the most courage of all, because you can so fail when you do stand-up. You have to be fearless with comedy, and Chrissy Snow was just a delicious character to play. That was who I played on Three's Company because she had a circuitous route to logic. She had, I remember the very first day that she really morphed for me, I gave her a posture. And now, what does this do? She's not threatening. If I'm like that, you're kind of not liking that. But if I'm, got the same body, but I'm got nervous hand fidgeting like little girls. And I watched little girls when I was putting her together, and they all fidget, and their eyes are all over the place, and knock-kneed, and that kind of worked for her. And then the right outfit.
Costume.
Yeah, it took the right outfit. Little hot pants, little tight little T-shirts, 2 ponytails. Because I saw a dog on Sunset Boulevard at that outdoor cafe. There are a lot of them. But I was walking by, and I see this woman with this Afghan dog, and I went, wow, what a cool hairdo. Ears hanging down here and all the hair in the face, so I adopted that hairdo. And then after she became so popular, I went to the producers. We both did, my husband and I, and said, Chrissy Snow needs to be branded. I mean, gosh, what a natural. All the little girls come to the show in the audience, and they all got 2 ponytails. Why don't we sell snap-on ponytails, hot pants, knee socks, wedge shoes, suspenders, and then go from there, lunch boxes, everything. This is not about business. This is about the show. I don't think so, and I didn't own the character.
I don't think so.
I didn't own the character.
You would happen to be wrong.
That's funny. So I really think they missed the boat on that.
Yeah, maybe.
Because if the branding worked, think of all the money they would have made and I would have made, and it was just male egos at that time, and John Ritter's supposed to be the star of the show, and we brought you in as a third lead, and you're getting all the awards, and we're not liking it. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, who knew?
Who knew? I didn't know. I'm a small town girl. Don't know who I am. Don't know what I look like.
Dumbest girl in Hollywood.
On TV.
On TV.
On
How
TV.
about coaches? Is it possible? Did you have any comedy coaches aside from John Ritter?
So, no, John Ritter, but, and this is probably what pissed everybody off on Three's Company. Day one, I come in and I go, I don't know why I'm here. I mean, I was going to be a chef, and I've never studied comedy, but I did have the lead in Guys and Dolls in high school. And they all going, isn't that great? And Joyce had gone through UCLA drama school, and John had all the awards and everything. But it was really more than that. In high school, I left Catholic school and went to the public school for the last year, and I got the lead in Guys and Dolls as Adelaide. Who's more Adelaide than me? And I so understood, having never been taught anything, how to be her. And I don't know how this happened. Again, you're looking out for me. And I would think a lot of you will know who this is. Walter Winchell. Who's heard of Walter Winchell? Okay, all right. Walter Winchell in the 40s was, what would you say, the leading, he had a radio show and had a ticker tape sound. We don't even know what ticker tape is anymore. He had a pork pie hat he wore and a trench coat. And he had heard about this high school musical. And he comes on closing night.
Yours?
Yes. And he walks up on stage and comes right to me, and he says, "You're going someplace, sister." He had a New York accent. And because of that, I got a scholarship to college. And but the first month of college, I got pregnant. First time I ever had sex, if you can call it that. And at that time, you did the right thing. And so I left college. And so who knows where that would have taken me. So after I married him. I had the baby 1 month after my 19th birthday. And then I raised him by myself really hard. And tried out for extra work and ended up at Burbank. And so talk about a circuitous route. But I keep thinking, you have some plan for me. And so I try to listen to the voice all the time. So then I lost my hormones. I don't know if anybody's my age, but around 50 years old, I didn't feel good. I did not feel good, and I became somebody different, and I look at Alan and go, no, it's you. And I went from doctor to doctor to doctor, and they offered me sleeping pills, diuretics, anti-cholesterol, anti-anxiety, as in Valium. They offered me all these drugs, and I looked at this one doctor. I said, are you joking? Is this the best you have to offer women? And he patted me on the back. He said, the drug companies know best, dear. And I thought, you old fool. And so I found it on my own. I heard of an endocrinologist in Santa Barbara, California, who's doing something with something called bioidentical hormones. I'd never heard of it, but it just sounded like better than what they were offering me, and they weren't drugs. So I did my blood work. I drove up there like a maniac. I sit down, and she said, oh, you poor thing. I said, what? She said, you have almost no estrogen left and hardly any progesterone. You must feel terrible. I said, I do. I don't feel like myself. I don't know what's wrong with me. So she said, I'm going to start you on bioidentical hormones, biologically identical to the human hormone, an exact replica of what our bodies once made or still make a little of. And by blood work, she started putting back what I had lost probably from the stress of my childhood. Stress blunts hormones early. And in 2 weeks, I started feeling better. Took a whole year to find the sweet spot, and I was back. And then I wrote a book about it called The Sexy Years. And I called the symptoms of menopause the 7 dwarves: itchy, bitchy, sleepy, sweaty, bloated, forgetful, and all dried up. I can tell you haven't lived with that woman yet.
No.
She's no fun, that woman. And then it started another movement, because the women were going, oh my God, I went on bioidentical hormones. I got my life back. I'm sleeping again. I feel like having sex again. Oh my God, I'm not sweating. I'm not bitching. I'm not gaining weight for no reason. I got my life back. And it started this movement that I thought, wow, doing well while doing good. I sold another 1 million books, and the women were happy. And then they started bringing their husbands. And the husbands started realizing that you not yet, but you will. You know why they do movies called Grumpy Old Men? They need testosterone. And so I wrote, in fact, one of the men I interviewed is here from Harvard. He's on the faculty, Dr. Abe Morgentaler. And he worked with me on one of the books to explain to men that the importance of testosterone. And here's what I know about men. I'm going to talk about your testicles right now. You're going to love it. This guy was going, good. Okay.
Bring him up here. Sling those bad boys over your shoulder. Bring them over here.
So here's your little 1 minute on your testicles. This is a woman's breast, okay? And in our breasts, we have ducts. And in those ducts, we make milk. But in your prostate is like a woman's breast. You have ducts. But in those ducts, that is where you make testosterone makes food for the sperm. And so when your prostate is small, that's because you have enough testosterone. When your prostate enlarges, it's looking for its most important building block, which is testosterone. And what Abe Morgentaler here, Dr. Abe Morgentaler here at Harvard, discovered by running a study, that when he gave men testosterone, didn't matter how high their PSA was, didn't matter what stage cancer, when he gave it to them, your testicle went, thank you, that's what I've been looking for, and it went back down to its normal size. Now, don't you want to know that? Now, how could I have found Abe Morgentaler? You're talking about celebrity. How would I have met Abe Morgentaler had I not been well known? You can't be Joe Schmo and call him, but Suzanne Sommers called him to talk about testicles.
Call me anytime. You want to talk about testicles? I'm available.
Another guy I called, you ever heard of Ray Kurzweil?
Yeah.
In fact, I was sitting next to Bill Gates a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I hear you are the one who said that Ray Kurzweil is the smartest man on the planet. He said, no. I said, he's not. He goes, he's one of, and then I realized, oh, no, he thinks he's the smartest man on the planet. And I wanted to talk to Ray Kurzweil because he had written a book called Fantastic Voyage and about longevity. I'm very interested in longevity.
How old are you going to live to be?
I can really, that's what Ray Kurzweil said to me. How long are you going to live? I said, I can easily wrap my arms around 110. He goes, okay. On your 110th birthday, you got your brain, you got your bones. He said, you want that to be your last day? I said, no. So he talks about indefinite life. I don't know, that's a little creepy to me, but there is a new life expectancy now. And you have to start now.
I'd like to go on the indefinite life cruise with you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be good?
Because there's a lot of us who are thinking of
The right
longevity.
Ship. The right ship.
The right ship.
Yeah.
Hey, I could cruise. Alan, we'll do another cruise, yeah.
The indefinite life cruise.
Right.
With Suzanne Sommers and Clint
Well,
Arthur. Who wants it? When you go to Carnegie Hall, you get a ticket to that too.
But envision yourself living a long life with your brain, without disease. I spoke to a group last year, this nice man whose mother died in a nursing home, and he hated the way they treated her, and he decided he was going to start a chain of nursing homes with compassionate care, and really, like they're at home almost. And so he gives them a trip every year to Seattle where they bring in guest speakers, and I was one of the speakers. And so I stood in front of them and I said, you feel from an audience, what do you want from me? And I said, I so admire the work you do. And I'm sure every day when you are taking care of these poor souls that you think to yourself, I hope this never happens to me. I said, what are you doing different? Because they all believed that all the processed food and all the chemicals and everything weren't going to be a problem. They never thought they'd end up there. So to entertain a long life with quality and keeping your brain, isn't that what the number one thing? We want to keep our brains. Just take as much turmeric as you can for the meantime. Cook with it. Take it in capsule form. It's so highly anti-inflammatory. If you want to live that long life, then you got to start now by making the right choices. And we're presented with choices every day. Every day, either you're making a choice towards the present paradigm of aging, which is cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, ultimate end in the nursing home, or away from it. And you can really start seeing how many bad choices you make. I make bad choices, but I make more good choices now than not, because I have a lot to live for. I'm in love with my husband, and I love my life. And gratitude is a huge thing. If we are 40 trillion cells, approximately, I don't know who counted, some anal retentive person, scientist, probably here at Harvard.
It's like counting the blades of
Right.
grass in a football stadium.
Exactly. But it's been all over the place, but everybody seems to agree it's around 40 trillion. They all talk to one another. That's what our hormones are doing. It's a communication system. They're all talking to one another. Every morning, I've been doing this for over a decade. I take one cell. It's the first thing I do every morning. It's not the first thing Alan does every morning, but this is what I'm doing. And I tell that, knowing it's got to talk to all the other 40 trillion cells. I love my life. I love my husband. I love my family. I love the work I get to do. I love the food I get to eat. I love that I live in America. I love that I have great health. And then I release it. And it has to go tell all the others, okay, we love our husband, we love our life, we love the food we eat. Now, conversely, if I woke up and said, life sucks, and I can't stand him, and I hate what I had for dinner last night, and that little cell's got to go tell all the other cells. So it made me realize that we are absolutely in control of our happiness. And we program unhappiness or happiness. And life is just easier when you're happy. And so that's
and it doesn't have to be hard.
It doesn't have to be hard. Life is simpler. Everything is simpler. I think cancer is simpler than they've made it out to be. I think everything is a lot simpler than we've made it out to be. There's a beautiful quote. If you come to ever see me in my nightclub act, because I am all those things, by Lao Tzu. If you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the present. I wish you peace.
All right.